Hey everybody, JJ here. It is Labor Day, September 7th, 2020. I hope everyone's having a relaxing day. Labor Day here in San Diego, not as relaxing as I would like. We've got a fire about probably 20-25 miles away out in the East County part of San Diego. There's a lot of obstacles that the fire has to get from there to here, so we're not too worried, but I do feel for everyone that's affected by these fires. And just in the United States, we have a lot of things happening right now. Along the East Coast, we have the huge, devastating storms down in the Gulf, and just so much happening right now, including what's happening in a lot of the bigger cities right now. Now, before we proceed, this is a shot of my homepage. There's a link down below. If you want to support me, I just put out another video over at Patreon. Just go down to the link, go to the homepage. The link's right here to the left. You see this right here. It's a huge report. You can go there. For just a few dollars, you can check it out. If you don't like the information, if you think it's not worth it, just go there, check out the video for, maybe do a 1 month membership and then cancel. But I think you're going to like it. If you like the information that we talk about in this financial channel, this is just scratching the surface, and much more. And what we can't talk about here is over there. So please support us. Link down below. Check it out. I think you're going to like the information. There's a lot of huge things happening right now. And I think you might be surprised once you find some of that information out. So just a few dollars, give it a try, please. And stick around if you like the information or if you just like to help support the channel. Let's get into today's news and update. Recent Market Watch article right here. The pros are getting ready for a market crash. Now, you've been hearing the market crash is going to happen for a long time. We saw the big drop back at the beginning of the shutdown. It recovered. We told you what was going to happen. Now, what's going to happen, though, after November? Will that be the end of the incentive to keep this propped up? Remember, the market has to be propped up for many reasons that actually affects Main Street. Now, Wall Street sees the biggest benefit, and the top 10% see the biggest benefit. Remember, the top 10% of the population owns about 80% of all stocks. So, yes, the top 10% sees the biggest benefit, the biggest wealth transfer is happening right now. But also Main Street, remember, 1 in 3 people have their money tied up in a 401k, and most of those are in stocks. Also remember, pensions are reliant on the stock market, so pensions will collapse. 401ks would have stayed depressed if it weren't for the pushing back up the manipulation of the stock market. So after November, ask yourself, could that incentive be gone? Well, a lot of the pros think that the time is coming near. Pros are getting ready for the crash. Now, one thing to remember if you're a retail investor, if you're just trading through your E-Trade account or Robinhood or whatever other online account you may have for your brokerage, the professionals, the market makers, they can get out of this market in a fraction of a second, and it could be all done algorithmically. So while you're not paying attention, they have algorithms set up to completely get them out of harm's way, get them out of their positions very rapidly when this market starts to tank. Now, I don't think it's going to happen soon. I think we still have at least a few more months. They're going to keep it propped up, but who knows? That's just what I'm thinking. But if you're in these markets, you may want to start thinking about the reasons why it's been propped up for this long, and how much longer that may last, you know what I mean? And according to this article, and according to an economic analysis that they discuss here, that they interview, the pros are getting ready for the crash. I'll let you read about it. It has to do with options trading and derivatives. Also, these market makers, the pros as they call them here, they have other investment means to ensure or protect themselves against a huge market dive. So while a lot of them still may be long for the current time, they have those protections in place that most retail investors do not have in place in case of a sudden dive in the market. And if the support is pulled away, if the rug's pulled out from under this market, all the artificial support, all of the endless debt notes, the Fed debt notes that are being pushed into this market, if it was to be pulled away, you would see an instant collapse. And I think most of you know that by now. Article here out of CBS. This is discussing the wealth gap And the wealth gap has gotten much, much bigger just over the past 4 years. I want to just quote you a few excerpts out of this article here. Here's one highlight. Consider this: 2/3 of the total wealth in this country is owned by the richest 5%. At the same time, more than 38 million Americans are now living in poverty, and it's projected that up to 54 million people might not have enough to eat this year. 54 million people, not enough to eat. We talked about this in just a recent report. Not every small town in America has a food bank. Right? There are people suffering right now as we speak. There are people on the verge of losing their homes. If it weren't for the eviction moratoriums, the foreclosure, forbearances on the mortgages, you would very easily see what's really happening in this country. Right now it's being disguised, it's being masked. And for anyone that thinks that there's no problems out there, I think they really need to wake up and smell the coffee and see what's happening, because all this support is not going to last forever. And in the snap of a finger, you might see the most devastating economic downturn that we've ever seen. And I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to scare you. I just want you to be prepared, and don't be shocked if this thing, when it finally does come crashing down. Another highlight out here: more than 29 million people are now collecting unemployment benefits, while at the top end of the economic ladder, during the first 3 months of the downturn, or during the first 3 months of the shutdown, the net worth of more than 600 billionaires in the U.S. grew more than 20%. For example, Amazon owner Jeff Bezos saw his net worth increase by $43.8 billion in the first few months of the shutdown. Remember, the service sector, also the hospitality industry, the travel industry, the hotel industry, those areas, those industries saw the biggest hits in employment. So a lot of the lower wage jobs also saw some of the biggest job losses. So people went from having little income and being broke or living paycheck to paycheck to now being completely dependent on government assistance and handouts. Okay, these are pretty scary times, people. I know a lot of people out there are going to say that this is fear-mongering, this is doom and gloom, but I don't like the idea of knowing that the government is in charge of millions of people having food and having a paycheck. To me, that's scary, because as soon as the government pulls back and stops the handouts and stops the support, you see society crumble very quickly. And if you think the unrest now that we're seeing in these cities is bad, it's going to get a heck of a lot worse. This could get 10 times, this could get 100 times worse once the rug is pulled out from under this system. A recent article out of Yahoo recently: these states are enduring the worst unemployment rates, and this really highlights the states that rely a lot on tourism, the hotel industry, the service sector economy. Let's take a look down here at this chart. Top 10 highest unemployment rates in the U.S. We see Hawaii number 1, heavily reliant on the travel industry. Nevada number 2 with the casinos, of course. California, heavy tourism, and down the list. We have so many people that lost jobs that simply were not prepared. They had no idea anything like this could ever happen in the USA. Even though we've been reporting on it here, it's been happening in other countries. Unrest can happen, government action, the shutdown that we saw, it can happen. All right, they can flip a switch and they can turn our lives into a nightmare just like that, just by stopping the stimulus. That, folks, is dangerous and it's scary, and we've got to prepare. All right, hopefully we'll see a light at the end of the tunnel once some of the truth starts coming out on what's happening right now. But they're going to keep interest rates suppressed. Even the Fed's coming out and saying that rates won't rise even when unemployment falls. So it used to be for years and years, what did we hear out of the Fed? We're data dependent. We're data dependent. We're going to look at the numbers, and we're going to make our decisions based on the data. Well, now the unemployment rate is dropping. At least the official numbers are dropping. We know that the official numbers are false and cherry-picked and phony. But even the official numbers are dropping, and they're still not talking about raising interest rates. That also should just be a plain and simple way to really tell what's happening in the economy. They can never raise interest rates because the debt would be unsustainable for households, for corporations, for the government. Everyone is insolvent. I'm going to wrap it up with a couple tweets. The next one after this is going to be really important. I want you to stay tuned for that. But Peter Schiff recent tweet of the 1.37 million people who returned to work in August, 344,000 or 25% of them took government jobs. Since most of these jobs are non-productive, the cost of employing these workers is actually a drag on the economy as it drains resources from more productive private use. All right, now this last one comes out of the sports world. This is a fighter, and I want you to listen to what he says. This is not so much about the financial world, but it's very relevant to what's happening right now. Listen to what this guy says right here.
Dad, come here, come here, come here.
I was going to bring...
Yeah. So we've been fighting right now in this time in our country. We're doing this whole Black Lives Matter. Everyone's fighting, everyone's looting. This is my father. I was born in foster care. I didn't have a mother or a father. They gave me away. My father wasn't fit to be my father. This is my dad here, Jacob Benny. He's been there since the beginning. He's done everything. He laid his life down for me, and I lay his life down for him. I don't judge any man on the color of their skin, but the content of their character. We're here. We love. It doesn't matter what color of us. It's all about love. You can't beat hate with hate. You beat hate with love. So everyone out there, please stop fighting. Please come together. We can't beat it that way, with love.
You cannot beat hate with hate. You can only beat hate with love. We're seeing a lot of hate out there right now. All right, people, try to stay positive, and we're going to get through this. Try to stay prepared. If you're not prepared, try to prepare. Try to be as self-sufficient as possible. Food, shelter, and water, self-defense. And again, reminder, please check out the video over at Patreon. I think you'll like the information. You're going to help support this channel. And we're going to keep on uploading to you to this platform here, but we're going to be doing more and more over there as that other platform grows for me. So thank you everybody for your support. Peace be with you. Love is going to beat hate. Thanks everybody for watching. Peace.